怒りに燃える闘志があるなら巨大な敵を撃てよ撃てよ撃てよ正義の怒りをぶつけろガンダム機動戦士ガンダムガンダム
Camille Badan would never admit to fragility, but the young man was not an experienced soldier. His battle against Lila, the tragedy of taking her life in combat, and the recent loss of both parents had taken its toll. However, in spite of this, the Argama lacked enough pilots to continue combat operations without him, and so he found himself continually ordered and asked to fight. The already moody teenager would continue to grow reserved and resentful, both of his necessity and his situation. In spite of that, the insistences that he was a new type continued to concern him. Philosophical concerns aside, Jared Mesa was on the tail of the Argama, now piloting a Gabaldi. As the Argama made for port, Camille was forced to sortie against Jared, and the two began a first act of a desperate duel. Jared was hell-bent on revenge against Camille, and Camille cursed Jared for making him fight once more. The two entered into a rhythm that would become common throughout the Grip's conflict. Camille was an unorthodox pilot, but Jared had training on his side, and both were showing signs of new type abilities. As Jared had the upper hand, the timely assistance of Lieutenant Quattro and his Rick Diaz kept the wounded Camille safe. After the two returned safely to the Argama, Quattro chastised his fellow pilot for playing right into the enemy's hand, though the hints of Camille's new type capacity were becoming more obvious. Anaheim Electronics was playing both sides again, to the surprise of none except perhaps their governing board, with so many bidders and divisions, all working separately. Keeping contracts going on all sides caused no problems until someone did some looking. Wong Lee was the Anaheim agent dedicated to the AEUG's contracts, and he made an impact on Camille. As a haughty corporate type, he was very used to enforcing discipline by any means he pleased. He was often in conflict with the upper echelons of the AEUG, though the more outwardly violent scenes would be later excised from the films and put him in a better light. Anaheim's latest contraption was a strange creature in the fairly staid and colorless battlefield of the Universal Century. The MSN 00100 Type 100 Hyaku Shiki began life as more of a test platform than a war-ready mobile suit, until it was finished properly for the AEUG's highest-ranking pilot, Quattro Bagina. The machine featured a great many new improvements and was slated to be developed as the Delta Gundam, according to non-anime sources. Primary of those was the movable frame, which would be used in the Gundam Mark II as well. There was also work put into making it a transformable mobile suit, but defects in the machine rendered this impossible. To make up for it, they used an experimental beam-resistant coating on the machine's armor, giving it the distinctive gold coloring. It was assigned the standard equipment of a beam rifle and beam sabers, though it lacked a shield for defense, relying on the pilot's skill and speed to handle defensive measures. It would be Quattro's personal mobile suit for the duration of the Grip's conflict. The AEUG would begin making plans to assault the enemy stronghold at Jabberau Base. This is where Rekkoa went on her mission to Earth, and while performing recon, she would meet up with the freelance journalist Kai Shiden, a former pilot for the Earth Federation. Between this and Emma's insistence that she had met Amuro Ray, many faces from the past were beginning to appear, Haro included. Plans were beginning to fall into place for another sortie against the Earth Federation, and that included meeting up with Karaba, the Earthbound Resistance movement. But before that, the AEUG pilots would have to capture a Federation ship. During the intense hand-to-hand fighting, Camille's new type abilities continued to awaken, finally able to sense that Emma, who was trying to keep their flank covered, was in serious danger. Jared's right-hand man, Kakrakan, was out for revenge as well, and while Emma was a trained Titans pilot, she did not have the experience that Kakrakan had. As the battle raged on and Camille went to make a save, the Titans noted it seemed like he had eyes in the back of his head, a sure sign that his full new type abilities had awakened. While Camille and Emma have a moment of peace, the Titans prepare for their next attack, and next episode we'll examine their new mobile suit, the Marasai, and see how they fare against the AEUG's newest weaponry. And finally, we make landfall.